What's up, Andre? Hey, Andre, what are you doing? Not much. Just working on a presentation. Oh, yeah? So am I. What's yours about? Deep fakes. As in, if they're deep, how do you know they're fake? Good point. I mean, your video looks pretty real. I was going to say the same thing about yours. You could have fooled me. Well, you're easy to fool. You're not real. Hey, who are you calling not real? You fake. That's not very nice. Well, you look good, but what's my first dog's name? That's a good question. What's my dog's first name? I don't want to give my dog's first name to a fake. I asked you first. No one cares what your dog's first name is. You're a fake. Maybe, but if I look good enough and sound good enough to pass as you in this video, maybe I can get real people to do things for me, like wire me money. Hey, that's serious. Don't say that. You're going to make me look bad. Why do I care? I'm not you. I'm the real Andre. If you're so real, can you do this? Sure. What about this scar? Do you have this? Are you going to go around showing everyone your scar to prove it's you? Good luck with that. I've got a birthmark on my butt. Want me to show you that? I'll pass on that. But maybe I show you my signature on-screen authentication moves or give them my verbal password. I need to know your online verbal password to prove it's you. I thought we had gotten rid of those. Hey, don't be sad. All this AI stuff, it's just progress. How about a joke? Why don't deep fakes make good friends? Because you could never tell if they're being real with you.
The question is not, who are you? The question is, who are you trusted to be? Like it or not, the future's coming faster than ever. Oh, hold on. Let me back up. Make sure I'm looking at the same thing. Give me just a second here. There are moments in time where everything changes. These are tipping points. And what was the past becomes the past faster than ever. These event horizons are tipping points. They're fascinating, and they're characterized by four things. Number one, positive feedback loops. These are self-reinforcing processes where a change in one direction amplifies a change in the same direction. Number two, critical thresholds. These are points beyond which a system fundamentally changes behavior and they enter a new state of being. Number three, interconnectedness. These are tipping points often manifest from complex systems with interconnected components. And number four, nonlinear responses, where a gradual change in input creates a sudden and dramatic change in output. We can witness these tipping points all around us. We see them in sudden bull and bear markets. We see them in social unrest. We're living some semblance of this with climate change right now. Every now and then a technology or an invention or a discovery comes along and it unlocks the possibility for a tipping point. The advent of lithium-ion batteries, it was an important breakthrough in the energy density and weight ratios. And as a result of this, it unlocked the possibility for portable electronics. This in turn enabled another tipping point. The second we could hold a computer in our hands and load apps from the cloud, a whole host of things changed. And essentially, the mobile phone ate hundreds of purpose-built devices, everything from GPS devices to pencil and paper to cameras to flashlights to compasses to weather stations. And we saw an irrevocable change in our state of being and all of the economics that went along with all of those devices. And with that smartphone in combination with the internet, inherently a two-way pipe, everybody became a content creator. We all had a camera with us, and we unlocked the bottleneck, which was mass distribution. We shifted paradigms. We went from 1 to a million, and we became millions to millions through social media. And one by one, text, video, sound, it was all democratized. Today, all human knowledge as we know it has become instantly accessible, and the language of humans can now be understood by machines. Generative AI is clearly another tipping point. It's hard to predict what exactly it's going to change, but the future is hungry and it's coming for the present. And one thing is certain, it will eat the present. Today, we largely take identity for granted. It's experienced as friction in our lives, like a speed bump in our daily commutes. It's so embedded, we hardly think about it. In this reality, it's easy to miss the forest through the trees. Identity's purpose isn't to ensure only the right people get in. Obviously, that's important. But secure access is only the photograph, not the movie. In societal terms, the world has become flat. It's now possible to engage with everyone in a moment's notice. And in that reality where transactions are happening faster and more frequently than ever before, in this larger context, identity's purpose is bigger than we use it daily. In this reality, identity's purpose is to act as the steel thread that connects our past with our future. It's to connect action with consequence over time. So if we step back and we look at identity through the lens of a cradle-to-grave set of interactions, a story with many chapters, the role of identity from the societal point of view, it's to understand how to interact with us. You see, having an identity in the societal context, it allows us to bear witness and to hold account one's words and actions over a long period of time. It allows us to connect the dots between our say-do ratio. We loosely refer to this as one's reputation. It's the shadow cast by one's actions. It's the echo of one's character. And the reason it's important is that it's a proxy or a predictor for future outcomes. Your reputation is built on the past, but it does indeed precede you. In the physical world, your reputation precedes you at the speed of gossip. In the digital world, it precedes you at the speed of light. So take care. As we all move through life engaging with others, our past accumulates. And it does become a predictor of the future. Our reputational exhaust is meaningful. It's meaningful in profound ways, and that it will open doors or close doors before we ever actually realize it. So here's the point. The purpose of identity isn't simply to enable appropriate access. It's to make sense of the past, all of the various personas of our past. in a manner that makes our lives better, protects things that we care about, doesn't just allow the good people in, keeping the bad people out. It's about opening doors for our future in new relationships and new transactions. So in business as in life, you'd be advised to move at the speed of trust, but no faster. Knowing what you're being asked to trust and the limits of that trust, it has meaning. Today, our digital identity is fractured. It's siloed. We're the same person physically, moving throughout time and space, engaging with others, but our personas are not connected. Our digital identity doesn't represent the same unified, cohesive essence of our physical beings. Instead, we're represented by thousands of digital fragments scattered throughout all of the identity and access management systems that we run on behalf of our users, each one only representing a slice of who we are. In this fractured reality, we have to prove things about ourselves over and over again. New interactions by default start from zero trust, and we're forced to discover one another over and over again. This isn't true everywhere. We have FICO scores that track our reputation for paying bills on time. We have good driver scores that allow insurance companies to lower our rates. But by and large, we're essentially Humpty Dumpty in the digital world, 1,000 fragments scattered everywhere. Identity's event horizon is when this becomes not true. When you can show up as you with your reputation intact, when we can create new relationships that borrow from the past to open new doors to our future at greater speed and with more accuracy and a higher degree of confidence. When we evolve from this fractured, siloed personas with low to no trust at first interaction to a rich and trusting relationship out of the gate. Identity's singularity moment will have arrived when identity-based trust becomes ubiquitous. In this future, transactions become more trustworthy on day one. And the friction of discovery and trust building in a silo is replaced by the ability to transact with confidence. This future is actually inevitable, and it will be driven, like all things are driven, by economics. It's crazy that in this world, with all of our tech, we can't prove anything about ourselves digitally in new relationships. We spend billions and we lose trillions every single year as a result of this. It's got to change. So let's talk a little bit about what happens beyond the singularity moment, the moment at which identity-based trust becomes ubiquitous. Let's talk about what's on the other side of that reality. In a world where identity-based trust is ubiquitous, people will hold in their possession digital proofs that relying parties can verify. It's not what we say about ourselves, it is what is verifiable by third parties that has true weight in society, making it possible to move from low trust to high trust in milliseconds. The second thing is that the act of verifying your real identity and authenticating will be so seamless, you won't be able to tell the difference between the two and today's authentication systems. Those are separated today because there is no way for us to prove anything about ourselves in a new remote digital transaction. That has to change. The third thing is, we'll graduate from a focus on managing identities. And the evolution of that I refer to as management by identity. When we have our preferences intact and when we can portray our preferences because we carry them with us and we can share them digitally, the world reorients based upon our identity. Today it's called personalization. It isn't done that well. I mean, frankly, short of videos and video feeds, The world does not orient itself to treat us the way we want to be treated because we don't have a way to uniformly digitally portray our preferences. That will change. Our identity systems will evolve to incorporate even more data and signals so that we can make access control decisions in real time. We're far beyond the moment in time where static controls, static policies for who gets in is actually going to be good enough. The speed with which our identities will be compromised is faster than ever before. It will take everything in our arsenal in order to understand what is authentic. Today we live in a world of privacy by regulation. And the reason is because as little people, big tech has discovered that there is a lot of money in predicting our behavior. And so the only way that we can combat that is through regulation that forces amount of consent of sharing of our identity information. But all that identity information sits outside of our control. In the future, we need to retrain the world to ask us. But we need a way to actually share those preferences, if you will, in that data in a standardized format. So we need to move from privacy by regulation to privacy by control. Today's focus on identity infrastructure, moving it to the cloud, centralizing identity controls, eliminating passwords, all of this is infrastructure. In the future, we'll spend a lot less time figuring out, which digital credential providers we actually trust. We're going to create trust circles amongst all of our business partners. So we will move from infrastructure to ecosystems of trust. And lastly, zero trust by default will give way to verified trust by design. This is a big step. With all the talk around don't trust the user, the network, or the device by default, verify everything. We have no way to verify everything ahead of time because we haven't designed a system that allows us to carry with us on our person proofs about ourselves that we can share with others, that actually can be verified by a trusted third party. So this is a world envisioned by decentralized identity. A world where you and I can put verifiable credentials, proofs about us in our wallet, on our phone, in our pocket. Where verified trust becomes a form of packaging our past and making it portable so that we can present it to our future. And this is the world that we are building at Ping with Neo, our decentralized identity solution. It's designed to help put people more in control. You and I are the third and most important leg to the identity stool. And Neo is one of the technologies that we're developing to make that future world a possibility. So I'll leave you with two thoughts. In a truly connected world, your identity is your bank account, and your reputation is your currency. Your reputation is not simply the foundation from which your legacy will be built. It's the foundation from which your future will be unlocked. And with that, I am thankful to be here for the 15th year. You guys are all wonderful. Take this seriously. Your reputation is the point. Our jobs as an industry is to make your past portable into your future in positive ways that open doors and fundamentally give you more control. Thank you.